And we're live, everybody. Welcome to Kinsey Live Out of My Element, the spoof talk show where I come to you out of my Honda Element. So we're going to talk about, here's what's going on the show today. It's what I did on my Sunday no media day. Yesterday I did 24 hours where I turned everything off. And so I had no idea what was going on in the world. And some interesting things happened in the neighborhood. The next thing is musical guest. The Geizhong master Zhang Shihua. We're going to be listening to a little Geizhong music, and you'll see what that is in a second. I use it during my tea ceremonies. And special guest, Pecos Hank. You know him, you love him, the YouTube star, Pecos Hank. Splice Records own Hank Shima is going to join us live in the element. And how do I do that without catching COVID-19? You have to stick around and see. And also, maybe if we have time, I'll talk about the one show that I watch, Critical Role. I've pared my life down to where I watch only one show in the world, and that's Critical Role, and I'll tell you about it maybe. All right, let's go into the monologue. So we have special guest Pecos Hank on, so I've done some jokes that are tailored to him as he waits in the wings to come on. Oh, Nat. Good to see you, Nat. All right, so here we go. So things must be getting to the breaking point in quarantine. Houston burlesque star Tifa Tiddlywinks just informed me she's watching Honky Tonk Blood, a little indie movie I starred in with some of my friends. Sarah Miller, music maven at Splice Records, said that the Honky Tonk Blood DVDs are rarer than toilet paper. All right. So that's our little monologue, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. Now, we like to start a chat discussion as we're doing the show before we go into the body of the show. So here's the chat discussion for today. How are you holding up on a scale of 1 to 10? 1 being peace, love, and bliss, and 10 being total mental collapse and breakdown. So how you holding up, folks? Just tell me in the chat on a scale of 1 to 10. You can type it into the chat there. And then when it goes onto Facebook, you can write it there on Facebook. All right, so let's get into the body of the show. What I did on Sunday. So usually on Sunday evening or Saturday evening, which we call Sunday evening 1, I light a couple candles and I say my Vesper prayers, do a little chanting of the Psalms, and then I have a big meal. And it's particularly nice now because it's Lent, so I've been fasting. And I've fasted for many years, so I guess you could say I worked myself up to a level of this Lent. I'm just kind of fasting on bread and water the whole week. So when it comes Saturday night, Sunday evening 1, and I can have some whiskey and beer and eat a pizza, which I got from the grocery store frozen, it's pretty awesome. So the evening 1, everything's peaceful. The candles are going. The pizza's in the oven. I'm smelling that food, and I'm doing my chants, and I'm praying of how everything's so beautiful and peaceful. I hear something in the back, and it's not really funny, but someone apparently was getting to the breaking point of their quarantine because I hear a guy yelling. He's screaming. And this is happening as I'm quietly chanting in Psalms, oh Lord, you're peaceful. In the background, God, and then finally he starts beating on the door and on somebody's door to the side. So I end up doing my peaceful prayer night with a man screaming curses and obscenities and breaking a door down in the background, which was a nice contrast. I have to admit, it was a nice meditative contrast, and finished that out, and then he kind of went away and I had a peaceful night. The entire next day was a peaceful day of silence. Had a little whiskey on the front porch, and as I said in my tea time with you guys, I just let my mind kind of go, settle down. And for a while there, I kind of forgot that the world is in turmoil, and it was nice. And then this morning I come and read the news, and looks like we're kind of stabilizing, and we'll talk to Pecos Hank about that a little bit and see how he's holding up. Let's see if we're at that point of the show right now. And I'm wondering what you guys did for your Sunday. Is that just a regular day for you guys? Or don't forget to tell me how you're holding up too in the chat, please. All right, let's bring on our special guest, Pecos Hank. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to carry him on and have a chat with Pecos Hank and see how he and his wife Nat are holding up. So, band, can you play him on and bring in Pecos Hank, everybody? Nice. I didn't even know you were going to do that. Welcome, Pecos Hank.
Welcome. Good to see you, Craig.
I'm sure everyone...
Be on the Craig Kinsey show, out of his element.
Yep, you're in my element, out of my element. So everything kind of works out in this crazy world of technology where you can actually be on the show while I'm in a small Texas town and you're bunkered and hunkered down in Houston, Texas.
Home sweet home.
So I made some jokes about Honky Tonk Blood. You remember making that movie, friend?
I remember making that movie with you. You were part of that movie, I think, if I remember correctly.
I was. I think I played the devil.
You did. You played a good devil.
Well, I've done it. I've had some experience in my life. I'm moving the shadows around so I can see it better. So anyway, we want to know, how are you holding? Howdy, y'all. Jennifer Masters. How are you doing? Jennifer Masters is in the... So how you holding up, dude? You're kind of you're kind of in your house. You're kind of doing things on your computer, editing videos. Sounds like it's no different than your normal life.
Well, you know that this is how, Craig and I, as much as we hide it from the public, can be very introverted. And so if you're an introvert, your life is hasn't changed much. Now that's me trying to put a joyful spin on things, but it's I sense the anxiety that the world has, and I'm worried for the people. I'm worried for my friends. Not as much as the health anxiety right now, because I just feel like all my friends are immortal. Maybe that'll change, but the economic anxiety that people have, I really worry for people that live in debt and own houses.
I know, right?
So I feel that anxiety.
Yeah. Have you been to the grocery store? I did a segment on my tea time with people about going to the grocery store, and that was quite an experience.
No, I haven't been in a few weeks. We've been following this since January. We were waiting for it. So we didn't go hoard, but every time we went, we stashed a little bit more. So, but I do have to go today and get some road snacks for once I'm living out of my car, like you.
You'll be living out of your RAV4.
I'll be living out of the windbreaker, and the idea is that I don't want to have any encounters with people. Not that I'm worried about getting sick, but worst case is, we don't want to get sick and then spread it to other people.
Right.
So I feel like it's my duty to travel. To not encounter any people while traveling. I think I can do that.
Hey, Tarja. You're not Tarjar. Is that how you say your name? Can you see the screen, Hank?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I just realized I had the air conditioner going. I hope it's better volume. Can everybody hear Hank? Nat, can you hear Hank as his beautiful voice is coming across? So, dude, I was prepared too. I had heard what was happening and I knew what was going on. I'm so glad I went out and bought some stuff first, because now there's nothing on the shelves.
Really? Are the shelves empty?
Even in this small town. At first they were not, but now I went yesterday or the day before, whatever it was, and no beans, no rice, no wheat flour.
Oh, wow.
Which, I'm kind of glad to see. When everyone first got toilet paper, I was like, if you're expecting to be in your house all this time and you're getting tons of toilet paper, but you're not getting the stuff that makes the toilet paper, you're not getting food. That's what makes the toilet paper useful, you know? So anyway, people are wising up, I think, and starting to get food a little bit. Can you tell me what you're doing with your day? What are you working on right now?
I'm working on my next video, which is the physics of lightning, and I'm trying to figure out a way to make it simple where people don't fall asleep, and I think I've done it. So I hit all the interesting things, show them some minor physics, and then we move on.
Yeah, so I don't know if everyone knows it. Probably the people who watch me do, but Hank is a storm chaser, and you have a very successful YouTube channel, much more successful than my beginning YouTube channel. And how many
for the moment anyway?
How many subscribers do you have, Hank?
Dude, I'm creeping up on 500,000. I'll hit 500,000 in a couple weeks.
That's beautiful, friend. Yep. And guys, if you haven't seen it, go watch Hank's videos of storm chasing. You do a lot of storm chasers sensationalize and try to act super scary, and you kind of make yours like a good BBC documentary or something. It's very informative and beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, nothing against the other guys. It's actually
of course not
that they do this sensationalism. Mine, though, it's more about the storms than it is about my lifestyle. So
okay, yeah, I see the difference.
People were following the storms. They're not really following me.
They don't care about you.
No. If I did a vlog like this, there might be like 2,000 that watch it. If I don't give them storm, like every now and then I'll give them some cute animal and they get angry, like, I don't want storms. What's your problem? So
yeah,
it'll be December and I'll be in Costa Rica, and I want storms. Go chase tornadoes.
Yeah. We were in a restaurant before this COVID-19 thing broke out, and a woman came up to Hank and said, "Are you Pecos Hank, a storm chaser?" And he says, "Yeah." And she says, "My daughter's over here and she's a huge fan of his. Can she come over and say hi?" And this little 12-year-old girl comes up, just trembling, and she can't believe she's talking to the Pecos Hank. And I got to be there and see that. So that was kind of a beautiful moment. But then you told her, "Hey, if your daughter's watching me, that means she loves nature. She
Right.
loves storms."
Right.
One last thing I'll tell the people before I let you go is maybe your fans don't know, you took classes on in stunt driving. You're like a bona fide stunt driver.
Yes. So storm chasing kind of makes you, by default, become a stunt driver. I'm also, hunting snakes. So if you're driving down a gravel road and there's a coach whip, and you pass it up because you're going 50 miles an hour, that coach whip is going to be gone in 5 seconds. So you e-brake, you yank the parking brake up, you swing the back end of your car around, and you can see where the coach whip goes, and you jump out and catch it. And so you can also move faster on corners. Don't try this at home. And so I got pretty good at doing that, and would get hired as a stunt driver in videos and movies, where basically just would slide around corners really fast.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Another thing, I'll tell one last story before you go. So I got my new Honda Element, and I was driving with Hank in it, and he made comments about my driving. He was like, "Dude, you're kind of punching the gas. Dude, you're kind of hitting the brake." I was like, "Look, when I was doing my research on these cars, they said one of the things about the Honda Element is it's punchy. When you hit the gas, boom, boom." And Hank just looked at me like, "Yeah, dude. Okay." So let's go forward about a few weeks later, and Hank comes to visit me at a place I was house sitting, and I get the idea. I'm going to get him. I'm like, "Hey, man, you want to drive the Element? Have you ever driven a Honda Element? It's awesome." And I'm going to get Hank in the Element, and he's going to see how punchy it is. And we get in the car, and from the very beginning, the first time, he just slowly, gracefully hits the gas, gracefully hits the brake, drives perfectly the whole time on the first try. And I got out of the car. I was like, "Dude, I was trying to catch you, but you're just too much of a badass."
I've been driving a lot of different cars, the storm chasing, you know, you're in rental cars. I used to do rental cars back in the old days. You got to feel for every different kind of car.
Well,
and one thing that I've learned is you know, you and I being trying to live on dimes and stretch it all around the world, is by driving like a grandma, you save a lot of gas, and you also save the life of your car, especially your brakes. On my 4Runner that I had, I think it had like 140,000 miles, and the brakes never went out. And I went to Scotty, and I said,
Scotty Kilmer, another another huge YouTube star, Scotty Kilmer.
Friend of Craig and mine. And so he said, if you're easy on the brakes, they can last almost forever. And so I've learned that just as you guys like you and me, we buy a car, we really want it to last. We want to milk every mile out of that car. And so these are things that you can do to just stretch out the life of your car. So that's all right. I've been working on that for a long time.
That was a great public service announcement, Hank. Thank you. But I do have one question before I let you go. Did you know I was trying to get you?
No, I didn't even think about it.
Okay. Yeah. All right, folks. I hope you enjoyed my special guest. I think the next special guest I'm going to have is Tifa Tiddlywinks, the burlesque star from Houston. One of my great friends, Tifa. And I'm also working on getting Joffrey to do it and play a little banjo for you guys.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. So
make sure you let us know, ahead of time so that we can chime in. I'm not on Facebook, so well, I'm trying
to figure out how to do all that stuff, how to let people know and how to get them over here and all that. So anyway, all right, Hank, I'm going to set you down. You're going to still be with me. You can click off and leave anytime you want, or if you want to just hang with me for the rest of the show, that's fine.
No, I'm good.
Folks, say goodbye to Hank. Well done, Hank. Appreciate it, friend. All right, let's see what's next. Now we're doing our special musical guest, the Gaijin master Jiang Sihu. And man, I'm sorry for messing that up, but let's rock this out. And if you've seen the show before, you know I don't play the whole song. We just kind of get a vibe going. I hope that's bringing a little chill to your coronavirus fears. All right, we'll keep that down. We'll keep that music going down. I don't think I'm going to have anybody hitting me up for, what do they call it when you use somebody's music? I don't know if they'll be pulling that off. So I think we've probably done a lot of time on this Pecos Hank combo, and so we might save the Critical Role conversation for next show and just sign off, guys. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Thank you for sharing, Studio Loki. You betcha, man. Can you imagine Hank sitting in a car with an Asian girl driving? I don't know. Have to walk the dog by. All right, so nobody told me how they're hanging in there on a scale of 1 to 10. Maybe we'll find that out when it goes up on YouTube. But as for now, guys, it's been the Craig Kinsey Show, Out of My Element, and I'm going to take off. I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful Monday, and next time we'll see you. Peace and be still.